Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, October 26th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, as the intensity increases, so does my willingness to tend to those vulnerable places. Little brain fart right there. What month are we in? Where are we at? We are now officially in the eclipse corridor. And if you've been watching me for longer than, a few weeks or a few months, you've probably heard me, mention this before. This is the time between the two eclipses. And I always find that this time is actually the most intense of the eclipse energies, because this is when we are integrating the first eclipse and building to the second. And this season happens to be in Scorpio season, which has its own brand of intensity to it. And the grace that we've had with the Sun and Venus hanging out together over the last basically a week. It's taken about a week for them to really work together. We're slowly moving away from that. So we're going to see our rose-colored glasses, that tint is going to start kind of sliding off, and so it's oh, I just have glasses now. So just watch for that incoming. Today, the moon in Scorpio is making the majority of the connections, although we are building into a fascinating yod. We are going to be having a Mars yod, and this is fascinating because we have Mars preparing to go retrograde, and so this yod is okay, we're making sure that you are getting this energy, that you're understanding the work of this energy. So we have the moon in Scorpio feeding in. This is not going to be till late in the day, so we're going to feel this late Wednesday, early Thursday, and then we have Pluto feeding in, and so definitely some intensity between the Scorpio moon in Scorpio and Pluto energy feeding into Mars. Yod energy is like a neon sign saying this is important. So right now your choices, your actions are really important, and they're setting the stage, I feel for the next several months, what your personal empowerment process will be through this Mars retrograde, where you need to shift and empower and change your personal yang action energy. So over the next few days, watch your actions, and are they aligned? With your values? Are they aligned with you standing in, being in your power? Being very aware of that moon, that Scorpio moon, the unconscious and the psyche, and how that may be coming up in and through this energy. So we have that we're building to all day today, and that's an important thing to keep in our consciousness. The moon, speaking of the moon in Scorpio is making all of the connections through the day. We have an opposition with Uranus energy. So this is actually preparing us for the next eclipse. The next eclipse is going to have some nutty astro, but in part it's going to be the Sun and Mercury directly opposite the moon and Uranus. So today we have the moon opposite Uranus. And if you know anything about Uranus, it loves to poke you in those dark places so that you can you can realize where these trigger, where these places where we feel puny need to have a shine a light, right? The top of the cards today is the courage card, and it takes a lot of courage to be willing to look at those places where you feel less than, where you feel broken, right? To go back to the eclipse. Thank you, plant. Today the plant is patting my head as we do this. The moon then will connect to Saturn in a square. Saturn, newly direct in Aquarius. Just over this last week it went direct, and Saturn is also playing a part in the next eclipse as well. So Saturn, that responsibility energy, it can either go into the shoulds or it can be, again, into that empowered place. Now, we can really pick up projections with Saturn in Aquarius. So it's getting beyond any of the projections. It's getting beyond those shoulds to your vibrational alignment. Part of Saturn finishing up in Aquarius, one of our big lessons, is our awareness of vibrations and what feels aligned vibrationally and what doesn't. And I'm laughing because my friend and I got lectured by somebody who does not like the word vibrations at all last night, and it's funny. Anyway, they're very real things. Anyway, the moon and Neptune up next in connection. This will be in the afternoon. So moon moving through Scorpio, connecting to Neptune in Pisces. This is also preparing us for Jupiter. Jupiter is about to retrograde back into Pisces late Thursday, early Friday. And so this is like, I don't know, it's like turning up the temperature on our intuition with these energies. But again, are you listening? And where are you feeling confused around things? Even when there's confusion around things, there's usually something that's asking for your attention. And so rather than feeding so much into the confusion, what is asking for your attention? Mercury and Mars connecting via trine. So that kicks up those air energies just a little bit. Mercury in Libra, Mars in Gemini. This is again where you may want to take notice, because Libra and Gemini can both fall into other people's agendas, right? Or twin with other people's agendas. And so you really want to be very aware, again, how am I acting on my soul's behalf? How am I acting from a power place? So keep that in mind. But also that energy beyond that can have some nice like jive to it. It can have some nice connection going. So this may be a call as well, especially if you're feeling in the deep with some of these energies, to dig in with somebody who can get it, right? Somebody who can hold that space and jive. Our final connection is that Moon-Pluto connection. Like I said, building us into that yod with Mars. So again, keeping your actions aligned, but recognizing that what you're facing may be part of this overall Mars retrograde incoming, and where changes, where shifts need to be made. Checking out where Gemini is in your chart may also give you some ideas around that. Let's see. We are building to Mercury square Pluto. That's going to be on Thursday morning. And that's kind of mimicking that Moon-Pluto square that we had on the way to Eclipse. So again, you may see some repeating patterns coming up in and through this. Like I said, courage, dear heart. These energies and times are not easy. I have the new vision card in reverse. So I think we're going to have some vision shift in and through between this yod and this Mars retrograde coming in. And in that vision shift, we may find our direction actually shifts a little bit too. And that's part of this energy, is shifting the direction. I just see so much right now, like the universe kind of moving people around. Notice where you're resisting and recognize that you can trust that the universe has your best interest at heart and its best interest at heart. That works together, right? You as part of the universe. And so how can you work with the universe rather than trying to resist it? Beyond illusion. Oof. I mean, I think the illusion can be a lot of times that blanket that we're comfortable with, and those vulnerable places that we get to are the places beyond the illusion. And so again, this is the season for that, and it's coming up, right? It's coming up. Your work, keep existing, right? Just keep swimming, ground in, breathe, trust this process. All right, so leaving that here for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.